everyone. I wanted to talk a little bit today about kind of the past couple of weeks and just some emotional struggles that I've been having. I think it's really important to talk about because I think that we can get caught up in talking about the exciting things, and it's great to be excited about a lot of changes and good things, but I think it's also really important to be very cognizant of what's happening emotionally and some of the things that may be happening that are more challenging. And so I think I've had some stuff happen in my life over the last month or so that have been more challenging, with my dad getting deployed and then a family member getting really sick, and then most recently passing this week. And I have a very tight-knit family, so and smaller family, so when things happen to my family, it's a big deal. Like things impact my family, I guess at a greater or higher rate because we're really close, and so things affect us a lot when things happen. I talked a little bit last week in my video about my inability to emote in the ways that I had been used to, and so typically I had been able to cry pretty easily, and I hadn't been able to do that in the last week or so. So that was challenging. Today I came back from Vermont after seeing my father and having services and spending a lot of time with my family. And today definitely a lot of things hit me, I think, coming back to a place where I don't have family around here, and then also a lot of my friends in this area have most recently moved on within the last 6 months or so, and I've gained new ones, and that's great, but I just feel kind of a sense of just like my meaningful connections have really are not here. I've made some really good ones, but it's hard to, when something's really going on in your life, to leave somewhere where your more meaningful connections are, like your family. So leaving my family today was incredibly hard, especially saying goodbye to my dad again, and he's going to be leaving on Wednesday, so he will be back in a couple of months. So I think what's really hard was coming back knowing that I do have some incredibly solid relationships here that are incredibly meaningful and very supportive, but it's just hard to come back and not have that solid support system that I know, like my family, or like it once was. So I think that's been hard. I think I'm kind of refiguring out how to deal with my emotions. I think my hormones are definitely trying to figure out a lot of different things. Coming off of the medication that I was on before, that was definitely had an estrogen component to it, to now being on testosterone. My hormones are in flux, and they're really just trying to figure out what the hell's going on with my body. So I think my emotions are all over the place, in addition to having things happen in my life. I think, so right now with experiencing kind of the juxtaposition between my hormones and emotions kind of all over the place, with also these big things happening in my life, I'm kind of in this place of feeling like I'm getting anxious again, and I'm feeling anxious and scared and nervous, because I don't want to go back to feeling like I have in the past, and more specifically feeling like the deep depression and anxiety that I had been feeling last fall. And I think every time that I start to feel a little bit more sad, I get really scared that that's going to happen. And I think I just have to, I think I'm truly afraid that that's, I'm going to be back there. And I think that was a very scary place for me. And I'm afraid that it's going to be easy to get back there, or I'm going to easily fall back into that place, and I really don't want to do that. And I don't think that that's it at all. I think I'm just sad, and I think that that's normal. And I think my logical self says that, like, that's not possible. Like, I'm sad and I'm grieving and I have a lot going on, and like it's not possible at this point to go back to that place. And what led to that place are things that are no longer a reality, and I think it's just easy for that feeling to come back very quickly, and I think that feeling came back quickly today, and like that sign of like just being like really quiet, and pulling back, even around my family today, and over the last couple of days a little bit, to a degree, which I definitely did last fall. And I definitely, you can tell, like, the emotions come a little bit easier with that. Like, today I've been a lot more emotional than I have been. It was about a 3-hour drive back from Vermont to Salem, and I was crying on and off throughout that trip, and so I think that's good, and I'm happy about that. I just don't want to get wrapped up in this feeling and sense of feeling like I'm getting trapped in this panic mode. I want to be able to feel a sense of sadness and a sense of grief and a sense of loss, and to sit in that and for that to be okay, without the panic. And the panic, like, really scared me today. It really, like, definitely scared me today of not wanting to get back to that point of, like, not being able to break that cycle of getting out of it. And so I'm wondering, like, I'm wondering if, like, not being able to cry and not being able to, like, show emotion before was really, like, not wanting to let myself, like, get to a place where I could like be emotional, because that would allow myself to be vulnerable, and to be in a place where I could get caught in a pattern again of just being sad all the time. I don't know. And I mean, my logical side of my brain says absolutely, like, that's ridiculous, and I know better than that. And many months in therapy also says that's really stupid. But I've just been trying to process a lot of that today, and I think it's just worth talking about and processing because my laundry's done. Because I think I've been really focused on a lot of the other stuff that's been happening with me and not focused enough on some of these pieces, some of the emotional side and what's going on. Because I think it can be easy to ignore, and because it's difficult. It's difficult to talk about, it's difficult to process, it's difficult to put it out there on the table. Yeah. I think when I start to process it more, I think I need to be honest with the people around me and how I'm feeling. I think I need to reach out to people, and I encourage other folks to do that too. I think I have felt for most of my life that by reaching out to people and talking about how I'm feeling or sharing how I'm feeling, I am often a burden. But with the folks that I know who are there for me, they are the ones that tell me that that is not true, and that they're there for me, and that's what friends are for. And for the ones who it is a burden, they show that in one way or another. And so I really need to kind of let that guard down and rely on the people who are there to support me. And I think there are people who are incredibly generous, genuine, and kind, and I think they're few and far in between, but I think they're out there and they'll surprise you. And I think people should tell each other that. I think if somebody has that impact on your life, no matter in what regard, I think you should tell that to people. It's kind of a little rant, but I do. Like, I think life is short, and you need to tell people that they have an impact on you. And I think for somebody like me, when my friends are the support system that they are, and serve in that way for me, it's important for me to tell them that. It's my way of, for somebody who has a hard time of opening up and really putting their stuff on somebody else in regards to, like, just telling somebody about how they're feeling. I need to tell somebody that I appreciate them and that they have had an impact on me, and that they have served in that way. And so I think people don't do it enough. I think people shy away from it, and I know I appreciate it when somebody, you know, tells me that and shares that with me, and it's a big deal. At the end of last week, I contacted a new therapist. As I mentioned in a previous video, I stopped seeing my last therapist because I just didn't feel the connection was continuing to go well. And so I got a really good referral to a new one. They were out of the office last week, so I'm hoping to connect this week and get in as soon as possible. Just because it's been 3 weeks since I have seen a therapist, and so with all the changes and everything that's been happening, I think it's just incredibly important for me to see somebody, just because I've been seeing people for therapy on and off for a really long time now, and more importantly for the last like 6 months, and I think I need that, and I think everyone with big life events going on needs it, and even if you don't have big things going on, I think everyone's healthy, so I hope to get in soon. I heard that this person is a good therapist. I think they're over in Andover, which is a little bit of a hike, but I heard they do gender therapy and are pretty decent, so I'm excited about that. I guess I'll do another update soon. I just kind of wanted to do this update video to talk about an important issue that I don't think that we talk about enough, and that's mental health. And I know that I will be okay, but I think that we don't talk about it enough, and I want to put it out there that it's something that we need to talk about. So start a conversation. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'd be happy to talk to you, anybody who wants to reach out. You can DM me on Instagram or Twitter or whatever you'd like. You can leave a comment with your contact information. So don't hesitate to reach out. And I'll talk to you all soon. Are we falling?